Debbie and I were talking this morning. We're covering a bunch of stuff, and
we always do.
We always
Everybody.
do. Well, it's one of our. We have a good routine in the morning, and you convinced me to do it, which is I get up early, I work a little in the podcast, I work out, which I didn't think I'd be able to pull off that early in the morning, and then we sit down generally outside.
Yeah, except for today because of the humidity. I was like, oh, my hair.
So we quickly scampered back inside.
Yeah.
But we kind of cover the news of the day and some of the things happening, and I wanted Debbie's thoughts about Brian Stelter leaving CNN. I also did a tweet which will probably make you roll your eyes a little bit because you think I'm a little obsessed with Stelter.
I think you're a little obsessed with Stelter and with Tubin.
And with Tubin. Well, it's
and with Swalwell.
Well, that's because they all contribute a certain humor value.
And they all have a verb. Well, I don't know about Stelter, but...
Well, Stelter might begin... So Stelter does his final show, and it's kind of interesting because at the end he goes, I've been canceled by CNN. And then he goes on to say, but there's a need for reliable sources. As if he was a reliable source.
He was an unreliable
Talk about
source,
a misnamed.
Anyway.
And then my favorite is he concludes by basically saying, well, the one thing I can say is that I had a one-of-a-kind show. And that's really what got me, is the idea of a one-of-a-kind. And I thought to myself, as I remember this goes back to the 1970s when I was a kid growing up in India. There was an Indian prime minister in the 70s, a guy named Morarji Desai. And he was controversial in India because he would every day drink his own urine. So the reason this came to my mind is he was a one-of-a-kind guy, right? And what makes the analogy even closer is that he kept insisting on the medicinal properties of urine. Oh. Now, doctors would tell him, this is not healthy, you should stop doing this.
Yeah.
But he thought it was... So it's like Stelter.
Did he die?
Everybody keeps telling Stelter, your show is horrible, you need to pay attention to other points of view, you're unbelievably dogmatic. But Stelter, like Morarji Desai, kept thinking, no, my show has medicinal properties. Here, I'm drinking my own urine, enjoy it, And no one else enjoyed it. Everyone's appalled. So anyway, I'm glad Stelter's gone.
Yeah, but you won't have anyone to make fun of.
Well, interestingly, Chris Lick, the new head of CNN, apparently on his call to CNN, he said there's going to be a lot of other changes coming. He goes, it's going to be kind of bumpy and some of you won't understand it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, I think, his way of saying he's getting ready to give some more people the boot. Very good news.
That's very good news.
Now, what do you make, speaking of getting the boot,
Yeah.
Liz Cheney?
Yeah, well, I think Liz Cheney, we kind of talked about the fact that anybody that is like just a normal person would know that if they did not get elected to an office, if people didn't vote for them, they probably should move on, from politics, right? So Liz Cheney I don't think she's that. I think she completely gets it. I think she knows that she's not wanted because of what she did, right? But see, I think Liz Cheney's thinking to herself, I could be the darling of the centrist movement, right? And not only that, but the liberal media loved her, especially because she was the voice of the committee, right? Of the January 6th committee, because she's what made it bipartisan. She's the reason that they could say it was a bipartisan committee.
Right.
Because of her bipartisanship, which obviously was bogus.
It's kind of like having a group of intellectuals and you include Bill Kristol and you say, we've got to...
Oh, I forgot about him too.
These are all the names that come to my mind of dark figures from my own past.
Yeah, so anyway, but I think that is her motive for wanting to, because I heard that she's already starting her PAC, right? Because she wants to run for president. She thinks that there's a group of Republicans that will rally behind her because she's the anti-Trump movement in the Republican Party. And again, there are people that think that the Trumpian movement is just not for them, because they're straight-laced and because they don't believe in doing to them what they're doing to us, that kind of mentality. But that kind of mentality is exactly what got Venezuela where it is today. So we don't want that kind of mentality, because we don't want America to become Venezuela.
Well, you're making, though, an important point, which is that Liz Cheney is not delusional in the sense that she is not watching out for her own career.
Oh,
she wants to be the liberals' favorite Republican. She's willing to play the role of being a Republican who bashes Trumpian Republicans.
Yeah.
And so she wants to be the leader of that movement. And I think she realizes that movement will be well funded, not by Republicans, but by the left. It doesn't have a constituency in Wyoming, but it has a constituency in the media.
Exactly, because she knows that the media will propel her, because they want that kind of Republican. They want
only that kind of Republican.
That's all they want. They do not want any Republican that stands for freedom, stands for their own principle. They don't want that.
Think of it: a Republican who does the Democrats' bidding is their favorite type of Republican.
Yeah.